Imagine your neighbor's feud escalates into a city-wide barbecue, except the grill is Kyoto, and the lighter fluid is a century of civil war. First, let's set the stage. Here's the world our story unfolds in, around 1600, with Sekigahara right at the heart of it. The Hosokawa and Yamana clans start a street brawl over who gets to be the shogun's best friend. Spoiler, nobody wins. Kyoto becomes a battlefield. Temples burn, markets scatter, and the shogun hides under his desk, wondering where it all went wrong. Now the big move, the road from Osaka to Sekigahara. Imagawa Yoshimoto looks at his territory on a map and thinks, you know what this needs? More territory. So he marches out to get it. He conquers Suruga, then Tatami, then Mikawa, each victory celebrated with a cup of sake and a self-satisfied nod. Now he controls 3 provinces and an army that thinks it's invincible. Spoiler, it's not. But while Imagawa parties, a young upstart named Oda Nobunaga is sharpening his ambition and his spear. In 1551, Nobunaga's father Oda Nobunaga keels over Midyon, leaving his 19-year-old son a clan, a castle, and a brother who wants him dead. Nobunaga's younger brother, Nobuyuki, thinks he'd look better in the clan's fancy hat. He rallies allies for a family reunion nobody wants. Nobunaga doesn't do negotiations. He ambushes Nobuyuki's forces at dawn, catching them mid-breakfast. Rice bowls fly. Nobuyuki surrenders, then tries again later. Nobunaga, now annoyed, has him executed. Lesson: don't make Nobunaga repeat himself. Imagawa Yoshimoto's 25,000-strong army is taking a leisurely break at Okehazama, confident that Nobunaga's 2,000 men are no threat. They're having a picnic, a very fatal picnic. Meanwhile, Nobunaga leads his tiny force through a thunderstorm, drenched and determined. He's about to pull off the ultimate surprise. We're here party crash. Nobunaga's men hit Imagawa's camp like a thunderbolt, literally, because the storm masks their approach. Imagawa's soldiers scramble, dropping their snacks in panic. Imagawa Yoshimoto, still holding his fan, is cut down before he can even order a retreat. The invincible army dissolves into a muddy, panicked mess. And here's Sekigahara up close, where our story really plays out. Nobunaga's army marches toward Kyoto, looking less like a warlord's procession and more like a really aggressive parade. Kyoto's gates swing open, not because they want to, but because nobody wants to argue with the man who owns the biggest gun. Nobunaga installs Ashikaga Yoshiaki as shogun, which is the political equivalent of putting a hat on a cat and calling it king. With the capital in his pocket, Nobunaga now controls the puppet strings. The other warlords? Not laughing. Nobunaga has had enough of the warrior monks of Mount High. They've been sheltering his enemies and mocking his authority. Time to send a message. His army surrounds the sacred mountain. Monks in robes and armor brace for battle. They've held this fortress for centuries. They think they're safe. Nobunaga's men set fire to the temples. Flames lick the sky as monks run screaming. No mercy today. This is total war. By the time the smoke clears, thousands lie dead. The warrior monks are no more. Nobunaga has shown Japan that no one, not even the gods, can stand in his way. Takeda Katsuyori, son of the legendary Shinjin, decides that cavalry charges are the ultimate flex. He's about to learn that bullets don't care about your family legacy. Nobunaga, meanwhile, has been busy. He lines up 3,000 arquebusiers behind wooden palisades, creating a kill box that would make a modern general weep with joy. The Takeda cavalry charge, full of samurai spirit and ancestral pride. They hit the palisades like a wave, except the wave is made of screaming horses and flying lead. Volley after volley, the Takeda samurai fall. It's the end of an era. The age of the samurai charge meets the age of the trigger. Ouch! It's 1582. Nobunaga is at the height of his power, but his most trusted general, Akechi Mitsuhide, has a different idea for the evening's entertainment. Mitsuhide's army surrounds Honno-ji Temple in Kyoto. Nobunaga, inside with only a handful of guards, realizes this is not a friendly visit. Flames erupt as Mitsuhide's men set the temple ablaze. Nobunaga, sword in hand, faces the inferno and his betrayer's army. Rather than be captured, Nobunaga commits seppuku. The Demon King falls, but his legend only grows from the ashes. News of Nobunaga's death reaches Hideyoshi, who is busy besieging the Mori. He slams his teacup down, splashing green tea everywhere. Mitsuhide, you absolute turnip. Hideyoshi makes a deal with the Mori. I'll give you everything. Just let me march my army east. Right now, he doesn't even wait for the ink to dry. At Yamazaki, Hideyoshi's 40,000 troops crash into Mitsuhide's 16,000. The battle is not a duel of honor. It's a grudge match with a side of revenge. Mitsuhide's army crumbles. He tries to flee toward his castle, but peasant mobs, eager to settle scores, block his path. Karma is a rusty spear. Cornered and alone, Mitsuhide is killed by a stray arrow, or, depending on the story, by bandits. Either way, his 13 days of glory end in a ditch. Hideyoshi, now the top dog, decides he needs to know exactly how much rice everyone is growing. Because nothing says, I trust you like a government survey. Teams of surveyors fan out across Japan, measuring every paddy field with sticks and ropes. The peasants watch, muttering darkly about the monkey's new hobby. Hideyoshi's officials grade each field by its yield, good, medium, or poor. The peasants realize this is not about fairness. It's about taxes. Surprise! The survey is a masterpiece of bureaucracy. Every village, every field, every farmer cataloged. Hideyoshi now knows exactly how much rice Japan grows and exactly how much he can take. Hideyoshi rolls up to Odawara Castle with 200,000 men. The Hojo Lord, Hojo Ujimasa, peers over the walls and thinks, we've got snacks for days. Hideyoshi's siege is less a battle and more a massive picnic. His soldiers play music, dance, and even hold tea ceremonies right outside the walls. Inside Odawara, the Hojo garrison grows bored and restless. Their supplies dwindle, and the party outside is making them feel left out. After 3 months of siege and 0 actual fighting, the Hojo surrender. Hideyoshi accepts with a grin. Told you my tea was better. Japan is unified. By 1598, Hideyoshi is a withered old man, but his grip on Japan is still iron, and his paranoia is forged from the same metal. Hideyoshi summons the 5 great elders, including Tokugawa Ieyasu, and makes them swear a sacred oath. Protect my son, or be cursed by the gods. But Hideyoshi knows those are just words. He also builds a secret network of spies to watch the elders, because trust is for fools. On September 18th, 1598, Hideyoshi dies. His final words, don't let Ieyasu get any ideas. But Ieyasu is already taking notes. October 21st, 1600. A thick fog blankets the valley of Sekigahara. 2 massive armies grope blindly for each other, like a clumsy blind date no one wants. Tokugawa Ieyasu, perched on a camp stool, calmly munches rice crackers. His generals fidget. Patience, he says. The fog hides us as much as them. Ishida Mitsunari's Western army holds the high ground, but his allies are unreliable. He prays that Kobayakawa Hideaki, perched on a hill, will actually fight. The fog lifts. Ieyasu gives the order, attack. The Eastern army surges forward, banners flying. The Battle of Sekigahara, the decider of Japan, has begun. Osaka Castle, 1614. Toyotomi Hideyoshi, age 21, has inherited his father's ambition and a castle full of gold and grumpy samurai. Tokugawa Ieyasu, now a wizened old fox, sees Hideyoshi as a loose end. Time to tie it up with cannon fire. Ieyasu's cannons roar. Osaka's walls, once proud, now crumble like stale rice crackers under a furious bombardment. Winter siege turns to stalemate. Ieyasu offers peace, Hideyori accepts, but the old fox has a trap. He orders the outer moats filled in. Oops. In 1603, Emperor Gyozei, who has basically been a decorative vase for centuries, hands Tokugawa Ieyasu the big stick of power, the title of shogun. Ieyasu accepts the sword with a triumphant grin. This is the moment Japan's most famous shogunate officially begins its 265-year reign. Edo Castle's construction begins, a fortress so massive it will make every other warlord jealous. Ieyasu, build it big. Make them weep.